Hey yogis, Latoya here with more education and inspiration for you. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different, and that is to review or to talk about a book that I've been reading. Now, I don't plan to do a full review on this book. It's a lot of chapters. It's a very difficult, dense read, but there have been some things that have come up over the course of my reading, some lessons that I feel like would be really impactful to my audience. I'm going to share it with you as I go. As things come up, I'm going to make it a point to share with you all what I'm learning. So the book is The Autobiography of a Yogi, and it is by Paramahansa Yogananda. I purchased this book about 2 weeks ago when I was at a conference, and the reason why I selected this book is because I was told that more than an autobiography, it's like a guide. So this yogi is telling his life story, but within the context of his life story, giving us all lessons on meditation and yoga and spirituality. There are two things that stand out to me specifically that I want to share with you all today. He tells the story of himself as a young boy at 12 years old, traveling to take a message to an associate of his father's. His father has lost the address of the person that he wants to contact. This took place in the early 1900s, so there weren't telephones, just easy means of reaching people. So like once you lost a person's address, you were pretty much just out of luck in terms of contacting them. His father needed to get in touch with an associate, so he sent his son to meet with a swami, unbeknownst to him. So he didn't know that that's who he was going to meet, but his father said to him, I'm going to put you in contact with this person. Go see this person first, because I think that he'll be successful in helping you to find out the whereabouts of this associate that I'm trying to contact. So the boy shows up to the house, and there is a man there, and he is in deep meditation, and he is just wearing a loincloth, and some wooden sandals are sitting on the floor. So when he meets the man, the first thing that is shocking to him is that he knew exactly who he was. So he knew his name, and before the boy even mentioned why he was there, first of all. Secondly, he knew why he was there. So this Swami says to him, okay, I'm losing light, let me fix this. So the Swami says to him, okay, so you're trying to get in touch with so-and-so. And he said, yes, actually I am trying to get in touch with so-and-so. And the Swami says, okay. And he goes off into this deep trance-like state, into like just a state of meditation. And the author explains that he was very irritated because he was in this meditative state for like 30 minutes. They were mid-conversation, so it was just confusing for him why this was happening. So the Swami comes out of this meditative state, this trance-like state, and says to him, I think that so-and-so will be here in about 30 minutes. The boy hears a knock on the door, and he is like, what the heck? So he runs down the stairs, and lo and behold, there's a man at the door, and the boy says to the man, are you so-and-so? And the guy says, yes, you called for me. The Swami came and he got me and told me that you had a letter to give me. And so the boy says to him, this is impossible. This is impossible because the Swami has been with me this entire time. I have not left his sight, and he hasn't left this room. So how was he able to talk to you? And the man is irritated. He's like, this little kid doesn't know what the heck he's talking about. I just saw the Swami. It's like, whatever, I don't have time to play games with you. What message do you have for me? So the boy is blown away because this Swami has, through years and years and years of deep meditation, this Swami is able to telepathically contact people, to be someplace physically, to physically be in two places at once. And what they call it is astral travel and astral radio. Now, the author explains that as a child, this was something that was phenomenal to him. This was something that just blew his mind, and he was just desperate to find out how to do this. But later on, as an adult, through his studies, And through the practice of meditation, he learned that this was very commonplace, to be able to separate your spirit or the soul from the body. So this chapter was like mind-blowing for me, because it helped me to understand in a real way how to explain how we are not physical beings. We hear so much about we are spirit living in a body, and that is like the best example that I've seen of spirit living in body. And you kind of look at it this way: the body is limited in a lot of ways because it's your physical body. It's its vehicle that is carrying your spirit from point A to point B. It allows you to communicate on a worldly level. It allows you to physically touch things on a worldly level. But there are planes, there are dimensions, and there are dimensions that are outside of our physical reality that are boundless, that our spirits can access, that we cannot access from our physical bodies. In our modern society, we believe that our physical body controls everything, when it's vice versa. It's our spiritual selves controls our physical body. And if we're able to master our spiritual selves, then there are no boundaries. You can travel, you can communicate with people who aren't there. You can communicate with people who are alive who aren't there by disconnecting your spirit from the body. Or you can communicate with people who have passed on, who have left their bodies and are still pure energy existing around you. This is just a demonstration of how, and we're able to do these phenomenal acts when we practice tapping into that power that we have. You have to look at it this way: when you're driving a car, right? When you're inside a car, do you believe that you are the car? Do you believe that you are the car? When you separate yourself from the car, when you remove yourself from the car, does it not lose all of its function? It still can technically or mechanically operate, but without your being there in the driver's seat telling this vehicle what to do, where to go, how to turn, without you turning it on and off, without you giving it fuel, it can't go anywhere. It can't do anything. It's the same thing with the physical body. Our physical body is our vehicle, and who we are is inside of that physical body. But the person that is inside the physical body, or the spirit that is inside the physical body, is able to communicate and move in ways that the physical body is unable to do. As spiritual beings, we all have access to this level of power, but most of us don't know how to tap into it because we're taught to control our physical bodies. But through the practice of meditation, we're able to separate from our physical bodies and potentially have this skill set where we are detaching our spiritual selves from the physical. The thing that I like the most about exploring this concept, or really considering this concept deeply, is from the perspective of, from a grief perspective. When people die, many of us mourn and we feel like this person is lost forever. But when we view it from this point of view, it kind of changes things. So just imagine a family of individuals who have meditated deeply, who have mastered this practice of separating their body from their spiritual selves. How much more peace those individuals would have with a person leaving their physical bodies, leaving their bodies and moving on and becoming pure energy. If you are, as a living being, able to access or tap into your spiritual self, then when a person passes on, that gives you access to them after they pass on, because you all can communicate with one another as spiritual beings, as pure spirit energy. And it also decreases that feeling of loss, because this energy is always around you. This spirit energy will manifest itself in many different ways depending on what you're ready for and what you're open to. So me personally, I'm not open to I don't know, just for lack of better words, like ghosts, like deceased people coming to me just in, my day to day. That's just something that I just personally do not feel comfortable with. But I have had them approach me in a dream state because that's something that's a little bit more comfortable for me. And also, I'm deeply connected in nature, so I'll have my deceased loved ones or my ancestors visit me as animals. My great mother and father-in-law visit me all the time as cardinals. And I know they're cardinals because my grandmother loved them. She had them all over her home. She passed away first, and I started seeing one cardinal. It was just the female cardinal everywhere I went. This is back when I lived in Chicago. When I moved to Atlanta, I would still see that one cardinal. A female cardinal is brown. Then her husband, my grandfather, passed away, and all of a sudden I started to see these two cardinals together all the time. And for me, it's just a reminder that they're with me. But they're able to transmute that energy into animal form because that is something that is more comfortable to me than them just approaching me, because it's just not something that I am ready for spiritually. So just through the practice of meditation, you're learning how to detach from that flawed concept that we are our bodies, as opposed to the truth, which is we are pure spirit. And you understand that when you are able to remove yourself from your body and practice or call on that experience at will. What I really want you all to get from this is that through the practice of meditation, you can master the spiritual world. You can learn how to exist within these two parallel universes, which is the actual physical world and then also the spiritual world. And you can do that for yourself in order to just disconnect from the body just for yourself. Or you can use it as a way to communicate with others, either living or deceased. But I don't want it to scare you, because if that is not what you're open to, if that is not where you want your practice to go, then you don't have to work towards that. But just know that this power is available to you. And also keep in mind, and this is what he also said in the book, he explained that you need to love God more than your meditation, that you should love God more than you love the act of meditating. So just keep that in mind. You don't meditate just for the sake of meditating or to obtain these like superpowers. It's really about becoming more connected with God, or more connected with spirit. We can just tap into what the Creator wants us to be able to access as spiritual beings having an earthly experience. I didn't go in depth like I could have, but again, the book is The Autobiography of a Yogi. As things get deeper, I'll definitely be checking in with y'all and just giving you brief summaries here and there. But I hope that was helpful. Y'all have a good day. Thank you for listening. Peace, yogis.